This is another book, and we have Extremely Wonderful, Matt the Wonderful, with a clip. I want to just show you the picture of this book. You can buy it on Amazon. It's called The Plot Against the President by Lee Smith. This is a book that Devin Nunes, the current congressman, who was the first person in Washington in the Congress to finally figure out what the left had been up to inside the FBI, Department of Justice, Obama team inside those entities, concocting a hoax against President Trump. So this guy is writing essentially about what Devin Nunes uncovered. I got to tell you, folks, this is a book you have to read and understand, especially if your friends think, well, probably Trump did something wrong. He must have done something wrong, or they wouldn't be investigating. This guy has footnoted, detailed, and again, the book is called The Plot Against the President, the true story of how Congressman Devin Nunes uncovered the biggest political scandal. And the author, Lee Smith, is writing all about how what Devin Nunes came to realize as time marched on, and they were calling FBI Director Comey in front of Congress. And I'll just tell you one little tidbit to tease you about this, but the reason I think this is so important is this. This impeachment effort in Washington is going to be dragged out as long as the Democrats can do it. They want to have a cloud over President Trump's head leading up to the 2020 elections. This effort to get him over the Trump-Russia collusion flopped because it turned out after millions of dollars, Bob Mueller found zero zip, not a nothing. There's nothing to it. So this is but this book is exposing how it wasn't just that there was legitimate concern whether President Trump might have colluded with the Russians, so they had to start investigating it. It sets up the sequence explaining to America through Devin Nunes' eyes and observations what the FBI did. Starting with, there was a testimony, if I don't find it quickly, I will march on, but the testimony by FBI Director Comey in Washington, I think it was in March of 2017. March of 2017, Comey's up in Washington, and he's testifying before the committee with Devin Nunes chairing it, and he just said, basically, Nunes said, I wanted to get him up here to say, what do you have? Do you have it or not? You've been investigating. What is there? And, pretty much Comey set up America, set up President Trump at that time by essentially expanding in his testimony, who was really looking into this, who was being accused as wrongdoers. And so what Comey was doing, according to Nunes, was Comey was setting himself up so that if President Trump ever chose to fire him, which he later did, as we all know, I think in September of that year, in May, actually, that testimony that day by Comey in Congress set President Trump up. So when Trump moved to fire him and did fire him, Comey could characterize that termination as the beginning of obstruction of justice. Comey was setting up the president. And this book is full of so many revelations. I touched on a couple other ones yesterday. I want to hit one more that is covered in this book that I just think is really important to understand. The media in this country is extremely culpable in what they permitted to continue to be reported. The media decided early on, when I say the media, not shows with integrity like this one, America Can We Talk. I'm talking about ABC, NBC, CBS, MSNBC, CNN, Washington Post, New York Times. They got on board with a destroy Trump mission. That is what they did. And everything they reported, everything they chose not to report, what they focused on, what they didn't bother telling you, the way they characterized things, the way they stuck. In fact, I told you there were studies showing that they increased the number of times the word impeachment was in the same caption in a news story as Trump, and the mental impact that has on the American people. The media got on board of getting rid of Trump and abandoned all sense of journalistic integrity, leading to things which ultimately was the American people, the electorate, began to think, well, there must be something here. Everyone's saying it. Everyone's talking about it. There must be something to it. And the division in families, families across this country literally had kids in college, kids out of college, deciding not to come home for Christmas because they were so upset. How could you people support President Trump? He's so mean. He's so awful. He's such a liar. The media played an enormous role. They have complicity in what the FBI and DOJ did to attack President Trump.